I mean, well, we're talking about this wedding, and I guess the only question I have is the $1 million question. What exactly, what part of the wedding made you get a little emotional there, TC?
Yeah, I believe I said we weren't going to talk
Because
about
we haven't
this.
addressed that. We haven't talked about that. So,
We haven't, and it's interesting you use the word a little emotional.
Hey, before I tell this story, I want to say, fuck both of you.
And before you tell the story, I want to say I got it on video. And you can find it at www.
Fried Bologna getting blackmailed. Oh, I gotta love it.
All right. So there were two parts to this wedding weekend that the spirit took over me. The first was when they were reading the vows to one another, and I'm listening to my brother. I'm like looking at my brother. I'm not sure if this is on video. It probably is somewhere. I'm looking at my brother and listening to him talk, and I'm like, shit. This dude really loves this other motherfucker right here. He loves him for real. And then I hear Tony talk, and I'm like, this motherfucker really loves my brother. Like, this shit is wild. So I welled up, right? I thought that was the extent of my emotions for the weekend. And boy, was I wrong. So we get to the reception. Or the party, which is the next day after this. We took pictures that same day, right? That was that day, or was that after the wedding?
Correct. Yeah, that was after the ceremony. Yeah.
Okay.
We took pictures.
So
the next day.
Stevie, my sister, and me go up. I'm holding my daughter, and Stevie, I believe, gave her speech first, right, Marco?
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, my sister got through it, and she's emotional as a motherfucker, so I should be able to get through this no problem. I'm talking myself into this the whole time, by the way. So I grab the microphone. I start talking. I don't know, maybe 7 to 12 words in. I look over at my brother, and I just see the look in his face. It is joy. It is euphoria. Like, my brother, I've never seen him that happy before. And my brother's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's happy most of the time. As a kid, all the way up to the adult. Like, his baseline is mostly happy. In contrast, mine's mostly irritated. So, I look over and look at his face, and he's also looking at me with this I love my brother look on his face. Now, me and my brother, just an aside, we're very close. Extremely close. Like, me and my brother, that's my dude. So, I look at him, and immediately somebody, y'all live in New York, during the summer where they break the fire hydrant and water just starts pouring out uncontrollably until it stops? Or until the fire station comes and turns it off. I just couldn't talk anymore. And this overwhelming feeling of some saline solution started just coming from my face. And now, I don't remember the last time I had cried at that moment, like before then. I have no idea. But I think that was at least 3 to 5 years worth of tears that I cried that day. and then I made the attempt to continue to try to talk, which just made things worse. And so I gave up. I didn't even get out any coherent sentences, I don't think.
No.
Not a one.
Yeah. So
Well, that's not
and
true.
that was
You got one out. You said, this is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, I did. It was hilarious. I found it funny, but the unfunny thing is my laughter couldn't overtake my tearful joyness. And
So you didn't even get through you couldn't even make it through the speech. That's what you're saying.
No.
It was
What
that,
speech?
Yeah.
I cried in front of a whole bunch of people. Is what happened.
Half of whom you didn't know.
Yeah. there was
Talk
like
about the most, like,
120
I mean, y'all know me. I'm not going to claim to be like the most masculine dude, but I'm far from a crier though. And the one of my worst nightmares was to cry in front of people. And I seem to accomplish that, and I lived through it, so I guess it wasn't that bad.
Oh my gosh. Well, if it's any consolation, everyone at the wedding, everyone afterwards was like, oh my gosh, you and your brother, that was the sweetest thing. I was bawling. I was crying. You had everyone else crying in the audience too, so.
We're showmen.
That was yeah.
But for the record, IQ, I'm still waiting on that speech.